Hey Flosstube, I'm Teresa. Welcome to Creative Whims Studio. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thank you for being here and welcome. This was a crazy week of changes. A lot of things happened this week that are life-changing actually. But before I get into my week, I have some announcements. Early on when I started my Flosstube channel, I was talking about how I lost 18 pounds on the ketogenic or the keto diet, and I was explaining a little bit about it. People were very interested, and there's something that I need to add to that. I haven't done keto in a long time, but I recently just heard, because I was going to get back on the keto diet, because I haven't gained all the weight back, but you know, summer's coming and I have gained probably 10 pounds of it back. But I was listening to this lady, Melissa Made is her website, but anyways, she was talking about how, because she's like a health guru and she has clients and stuff like that she works one-on-one with, and she said she's getting a lot of people coming to her because they've done the keto diet and their hair is falling out. Well, I had the same experience. I was on the keto diet. I started last year, the day after Mother's Day, and I was on it through like mid-July. So that's, you know, May, June, you know, probably 10 weeks or something like that. And the hair loss for me didn't happen until it was around August. I mean, I had already quit doing keto when I started getting like major hair loss, like clumps of hair. If you knew me from back when, I used to have long hair and it was thick. Now it's super thin and scraggly in the back. So that perked my ears up, and I thought, is that why I lost my hair at that point? I didn't know what it was. I mean, I'm going through menopause, or I'm actually through menopause, so I thought maybe I figured it was just hormonal. Well, anyways, I looked into it. Because I recommend the keto diet early on, I just want people to be aware of what can happen, not just with a keto diet, but a low carb diet, a low calorie diet. Whenever you change your diet drastically for any length of time, your body goes through a major change and it can mess up your hormones and you can experience hair loss. Now, it doesn't happen for everyone. I have done a 1200 calorie diet before and never had the hair loss issue. But I'm older now, and I think my age had something to do with that. So I just wanted to bring that up. That's something that if you're going to do a diet, just read up about it. I'm going to link an article below, and it talks about how you can avoid the hair loss. And anyways, I just felt like I needed to mention that because I don't want someone to do the keto diet and lose a bunch of hair and then, you know, say, what the heck, Teresa? I want to announce that when I reached 3,000 subscribers, you know, I haven't even checked in a long time. I don't even know where I'm at this point. But when I reach 3,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away an original painting. So this isn't the question for the week, but if you could give me your opinion give me your opinion on what, if I give away an original painting, what would you like it to be? One of my angels? Would you like more of a folk art painting? You know, more primitive? Let me know. I'm just curious. Also, somebody asked me if I would do a tutorial, a free tutorial on my YouTube channel showing how to do the caramel color finish. I don't have one of those paddles. Let me grab one of those. So the caramel color finish is like a 5-step process, and you get this really cool texture. So she was asking if I would do a tutorial on that, and yes, I will. And I won't do it though until after I film my punch needle tutorial, because that's something that not everyone's waiting on, but I have people waiting for me to do that. So eventually, sometime this summer, I was going to film the punch needle tutorial. I was going to start working on it tomorrow morning, but it looks like my mom and Jerry are either getting here late tonight or early tomorrow, so I am not going to have time, because originally they weren't going to be here till Saturday night, like late. But I'll get it done. Never fail. Never fail. Okay, I also went through my Etsy shop and made sure all of my punch needle designs that are available are on there. I did that this week, so everything is updated. Eventually, I am going to add all of my hooked rug patterns to my Etsy shop. And I'm going to, pretty sure, I'm going to sell just the paper pattern, because I shouldn't say hate. I don't hate anything. I really am not a fan of tracing rugs. If I had a dedicated spot for it, it would help, but it's such a, the light box is huge. I mean, it's ginormous, and I have it in my basement at my house, and I want all of the business stuff that's at the house, I want it out of there. We're redoing our basement, and when it's finished, I want it just to be living space. I have the studio, and once I clean the other side out and I put all my pattern business over there, I might go back to tracing rugs onto linen and monk's cloth, but I'm going to offer just the paper patterns. That might turn some people off, but there's a lot of people that ask me for paper patterns because they would rather save the money and trace it themselves. Anyway, you know, can't make everybody happy, but so that's my plan. And then another thing I want to ask you guys about, I don't know where I'd find time in my life to do this, but I've had so many people over the course of years, you know, since I started doing punch needle really, ask me if I would ever do wool applique patterns. A lot of my artwork lends itself big time to wool applique, and it, you know, the primitive look, the Santas, the snowmen, and that, you know, they would look great. I just don't know how I would find time to do that when I'm already drowning in work. But I'm just curious how many of you do wool applique, or if that's something you're interested in. And also, if you do wool applique, would you work on the work, you know, do the models for me, because I don't have time to do wool applique myself. And I have been in touch with Vanna Pfeiffer. She's amazing. I mentioned her. I didn't mention her in my video last week, and I meant to give her a shout out, so I'm giving her a shout out now. But she has her own Flosstube channel, and she's an amazing finisher, and she does a lot of free tutorials on her Flosstube channel, so check her out if you want to know how to do finishing. But I emailed her and asked her if she would do finishing for me, and so I'm stoked because, you know, I would love to do some of the finishing myself, but again, I mean, I'm working like 60 hours a week, and I just don't have time for it. So anyway, I'm so excited to be, you know, doing some work with Vanna, because she is amazing. That's it for announcements. Okay, so I'm going to go through these quick. My week. Okay, this is why my week was so life-changing. Oh, well, this wasn't life-changing, but I want to start out saying that last Saturday, I did the punch needle class. I'm going to insert a few pictures here of the class. This was so much fun. Devette, this is so awesome. Devette last week, like, I don't even know, Tuesday or Wednesday, I saw that she had made a comment on my Flosstube video and asked if the class was full or if it was nearby or whatever, and I told her, you know, that it was not full and where the class was at. She contacted the store. Anyway, she got in the class. She came from Port Huron, which is an hour east of me, and from me to go to Saginaw is 45 minutes north. So she drove over an hour to get to the class. But it was so cool that she got in through Flosstube. So thank you, Flosstube. And she was darling. She's such a nice lady. All the ladies were so wonderful. And they picked up punch needle like fast. I've never had a class get it as quick as these ladies. And we were all crammed in this corner, but it was nice and cozy. And, you know, we had great, you know, just fun conversations, and everybody did wonderful. So thank you, Colette at Stitch in Time, for hosting the class and getting everyone, you know, together for the class. And thank you, ladies, for showing up, because it was a lot of fun. So that was Saturday. And then Monday or Sunday, we got a nice surprise visit from Bree and Eric and Ellery. So that was wonderful. And then Monday was, I almost said Bree's. It was Bree's first birthday. It was Ellery's first birthday. Oh my gosh. So now she's not having no bottles, because the daycare that she goes to a few days a week, once they turn a year old, there's no bottle. You know, there's certain things that they just all just, you know, food, real food. So it was fun watching her on Thursday and just seeing her eat real food. Like, she eats. She's a good eater. It was awesome. So happy birthday, Ellery. And we're having a party here, not this weekend, but next weekend, for her birthday. So that wasn't necessarily life-changing, but oh my gosh, she's growing up too fast. Tuesday, I had, okay, my very first car that I ever bought, brand new, was a Pontiac Bonneville 2000 Pontiac Bonneville Supercharged, navy blue. Oh, I loved that car. I loved that car so much. And anyways, it had some major issues, and it's been out back here behind my studio with grass growing around it for, you know, I should say not under it or whatever. It was a sad sight, because I loved that car so much. Anyway, we got that towed away. We got that towed away Monday or Tuesday. That was sad. So bye-bye car. And then I'm going to insert pictures here of Wednesday. We had this company come out that cuts trees down. This crew, there must have been 10 to 12 guys, came out with all this machinery and equipment and cut down 8 large trees. Some of the, I mean, they all needed to go, but there were 5 or 6 down here at the studio, 2 in front of my studio, 3 or 4 in the back, and then the driveway coming down to my studio, there was this pine tree that was scraggly looking, and then there was a tree that needed to be removed, because coming around the corner to come down to my studio, this tree, oh my, I've almost hit it before, but when they deliver propane, they've actually hit it before. And anyway, that tree needed to go. So they were here for about 6 hours and just made fast work of just grinding the stump out, everything. So I'm going to show before and after pictures, because it's, wow, my studio looks completely different now. And then, you guys, that was Wednesday. And then Thursday, our youngest son, Ryan, moved out. He's 21. I mean, it was time. But I miss him already. I love seeing him every day, you know, and talking with him. I already miss him. So that's pretty sad. And then, so, you know, those were some major life changes for me. But anyway, Mom and Jerry are on their way. They'll be here. I don't think they'll be here tonight, because they had like another 8 hours to go. They wouldn't be here till like 9 o'clock at night, and pulling that fifth wheel, I know they're stressed out, and just to be safe, I hope they stay the night somewhere and then get here early tomorrow and be refreshed and everything. But we'll see. I don't know. Just safe travels. Safe travels. Okay. I'm going to move on to Maynia and what I designed this week. I totally kicked butt. Totally kicked butt on designing. Because once I started designing the 12 days of Christmas, I couldn't stop myself. So the first thing that I designed is, it's from a painting that I did. I don't know if I have a year on this. No, I don't. But it's this little cute bunny painting. And he's looking at a bee. You probably can't see the bee, but you'll be able to see it when I show you this. Well, guys, I can't find it on my computer, so I don't know if I saved it onto my external hard drive, which I try not to do that. So I'm going to open this little guy up so you can see him. But he looks pretty much just like this. He's going to be so cute. So that was one of my smalls that I did. I think I did that one on Monday. Look at his little face and how he's looking at the bee. Super cute. And I've got this cool green Weeks Dye Works. Hold on. Sorry. Flipping it around. Weeks Dye Works kudzu. And it's 30 count. So won't that be cool? Yay. So that I did. And then I was going to just do one section of the 12 days of Christmas, one section a day, because you can either stitch it all as one, or you can do 12 smalls and make little ornaments for your Christmas tree. So once I started designing it, I couldn't stop myself. What on God's green earth is going on with my computer? I'm getting really irritated. I found it. Okay. Can you see good? The only thing I realized is the angel in the center, it says angel with rusted tin wings. Well, her wings are yellow, so I need to switch and make her coat a different color and then make the angel wings that rust color. So I've got the start at the bottom. 12 feather trees, 10 hand-carved Santas, no, 11 hand-carved Santas, 10 wool hooked rugs. So there you can see I added the 9 cross-stitch charts. I might fix that one a little bit. And then 8 grubby candles, 7 grapevine wreaths, 6 primitive snowmen, 5 knitting baskets, 4 mohair bears, 3 shaker boxes, 2 hand-sewn quilts, and the angel with rusted tin wings. So there you go. Now this is for the Artist Collective, which I'm going to put a link below if you want to learn more about it. No, it's not. It's the Collective Stitch. That's what it's called. My bad. The Collective Stitch. And this is my contribution to it. Now, I am having a hard time letting them have this because they'll have it for a year and then I can release it as a pattern. But I love and adore that bunny. And that was the first pattern ever that I designed completely in the program. I always start out with a sketch, scan it into my computer, put it into the Max Stitch program, and then color it, chart it from there. But this was the first one I sat down and I was blank. I'm like, oh, okay, I want it to be a bunny, spring colors. I didn't want it to scream Easter though. Anyway, I just went for it and I liked the way it turned out. And it was really fun to create a chart that way. So I think I'm going to do more that way. And then I did this one. This was way back when I showed you a ton of Christmas watercolor paintings and I asked you which ones you'd like to see charted. This was one of them, and Kyle from Stitch and Sound he's going to stitch the model for me. So Kyle, hope you're ready. I'll be ready to send this out sometime next week. I think it's just too stinking cute. I think that was it. So that was 12 and then 4 on top of that. So I doubled what I needed to do for Stitch Mania. Yay! Okay, whips. I don't have any whips because I am working on something for the Punch Needle Primitive Stitchers magazine for the fall issue, and it's a punch needle and it's coming out beautifully. The ladies that were at class last week, though, at the punch needle class, they got to see it and they really liked it, so that was good news. Finishes. I have, okay, the paintings are, right now I have the crackle on them and I've got to wait like a couple hours. I have one more hour to wait before I can put the antiquing, the brownish antiquing paint on it to antique them. So I'm not going to hold them up and show you because they're not quite done, but they're going to be done in about an hour. And so when I'm finished with this, at the end of the video, I'm going to show them with the camera, and that will be better because you can see, I'm going to do close-ups so you can see the detail in the crackle, and just pray, Lord Jesus, I hope they crackled. I've never put crackle on paintings that huge, and you have to work fast with the crackle, and I was getting a lot of bubbles in it because I was working too fast, and Lord, just let it be okay. FFOs. I have my Holly Hill and Mary Hill Santa and Snowman finished on those. I showed the wood pieces. I got these at Joann, and I showed those, I don't know, a couple weeks ago in my haul. And, or maybe it was last week. I don't even know now, but yeah, I think it was last week in my haul. So I painted, I haven't painted the back yet. The back's going to just be black. But I painted the whole thing black, and then I just went around and painted red around the edge, and then sanded. And I was going to do staining, but I liked the white of the wood showing, the light color of the wood showing, because it matched that better. So there's Mary Hill, and here's Holly Hill. So I think that these frames, and I just used fabric glue to adhere them to the wood. That's all I have to do. And then they're on these cute little hangers, so you can hang them on a peg, or you could take that off and set them on an easel, or whatever you want to do. So those were fun. So yeah, these wood pieces. Joann has a lot of great wood pieces. So those were my FFOs. And then haul. Ooh, I'm excited. So my Picture This Plus order came in, you guys, and I'm so excited to show you this linen. Do they not have an amazing source of linen? I mean, oh, these colors are just juicy. And I wasn't expecting them for a little while, so now I'm kind of really kicking butt on getting that In Command angel done, because I want to get this sent out. I'm going to show you the In Command painting. Okay, so this is actually a print, the original painting I gave to my BFF Kristen down in Nashville. But this is the angel that I'm charting, and I have shown my progress in the charting of this. I don't know, it was a while ago. Okay, so instead of charting the whole background and having, you know, y'all have to stitch that like on my other angels, my last two angels, you know, they're full coverage. I tried to match linen with that. So look at this linen. This is called Gothic 32 count, and it's a 18 by 27 piece. But look at that color. Does that not look like this painting with that purple and that blue? I mean, it's obviously not exact. There's a little bit of rust and pink in this, but I think this is going to be awesome with that angel stitched on it. So I'm stoked about that. I really pray that I have a big enough piece of linen. I should have really checked that, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Then I've got 32 count shadow. Look at that. I love that. And that Rejoice Rejoice that I'm going to have, that Kyle is so wonderfully offered to stitch for me. I need a navy blue background, and I might use this. I might use that. That's really pretty. Then I've got 32 count Rubius. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I love this kind of, it's kind of a vintage red, if you will. Don't you think? You know, it's not a burgundy. I love this, and I think having something Christmas stitched on this would be excellent. So that's going to be in the works. Spice. Ooh, ooh, so awesome. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. The modeling in that one is so nice. Gingerbread. Look at that. So that one that I showed, Peaceful Dwelling with the house and those cool chickens, I want that to be on a kind of an antique looking color linen. I don't know if any of these are going to work or not, but Fossil. A nice brown. Look at that. Oh God, these are just fantastic. And last but not least, Dusk. Now here's another, this is another blue. It's not, this is more of a green blue, where that other blue I was talking about for the model that Kyle's gonna stitch is more of a purpley blue. So this one might work better. I don't know. Let me hold that together. Yeah, see the difference? It's a big difference. This one almost looks green. So I don't know. And I've got some other blue, navy blue linen that I'll figure out which one I'm going to do it on. So that was exciting to get that, because like I said, I wasn't expecting that for another couple weeks. And my pens came, y'all. Remember I told you I was getting pens made, that I've always wanted to do this, and I mean, after all these years of having a business, I'm just decided to go for it. Aren't they cool? They're kind of a gray taupe color, and they say Teresa Koget's Creative Whims, and then it's got my website on there. But they write really nice, and they have that thing on the end for touch screens. You can sign with it and stuff, so super cool. Love these. I'm gonna just randomly give them out to people. So I mean, I only have 50, and that will go too quick if I put them in every order. So sorry, my cough is back. I'm using Flonase every day. I mean, I feel great, but once in a while I get into a coughing jag. Questions and answers. Teresa Albert. I think I was done with all that, right? Finishes, whips, Maynia, and haul. Yep, that's it. Okay. Teresa Albert. Why do you prefer the CTR over the Ultra Punch? I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. I haven't used the Ultra Punch in so long that, you know, I can't. The reason I initially, this is what I remember, is I learned with the Ultra Punch, so that's perfectly fine. It's a great value if you like buy the one that has all 3 needles. That's a great value because you're getting 3 different needles. You can do 6 strands, you can do 1 strand, you know, you have a variety. I also like on the Ultra Punch that you can do different heights or lengths of your loops. So there's 1, 2, I think it goes up to 10 or something. I think that's cool if you want to do dimensional pieces. So it has its merits. I mean, and it is the #1 selling punch needle. The CTR, what I like about the CTR is I feel it goes through the fabric like butter. I mean, it just goes, I don't know if it's sharper, I don't know. It just, to me, it goes through the fabric better, and it you really, the only way to describe it is if you just do it yourself, compare them, do it yourself. You know what I mean? But I feel that it just goes through the fabric better, and I punch better with it. That's really all I can, there's not, I can't think of anything else to add to that. And then Cindy's cross stitch. Do you still do licensing? From what you said, it was big in 2004. Did the market change? That is a loaded question. Yes, I still license. I license my, I do the teddy bear calendar every year. I've done that since 1999. I license my art to Park Designs, where they do hooked rugs. They do, runners, chair pads, and they also do tabletop, Christmas, like pitchers, plates, bowls, all that stuff. I had a line with them last year, and I also have a line with them this year. Thank you, Jesus. But they're an amazing company. Demdeco, I haven't had anything new with them in a long time, but they do still have some of my angels and the angel plaque that I sell on my Etsy shop, which I need to order more of because I just sold out of those. Who else do I license with? I have a couple new things coming out that I'm so excited about. One is from US Game Systems, and it is a deck of cards. And it's not like playing cards. Each card, it's 52 cards. Each one has a different angel, one of my angel paintings on it. And I had to write what I wanted on the other side of the card. So my card deck is intended to be this. It's intended to share. Those cards are my intention is that when you get this deck of cards, you share them. You send it in the mail to somebody or keep them in your car. And it could be a stranger that you see is having a bad day, or a coworker that's having a bad day, or, whatever. And I made it, I went through the different things in life that can be very difficult, like losing a loved one, losing your job. I can't, when the deck comes in, I will show it to you and I will read some of it to you. But anyways, so that is coming out. They're working on it right now. It's been like 2 years in the making because it took me a long time to write out. And it took me a long time to figure out what I wanted my deck to be about, because they do all kinds of different, like fairies and all kinds of things. And I wanted mine to be different. And I wanted, because anyway, I wanted to put my own twist on it. So it took me a long time to figure out what that twist was going to be. And then I decided it was going to be that it was not just for, you can keep the deck and just every day, choose one and read it and reflect on it and pray about it or something. You can use it that way too, but it is intended, my intention is that you share them with people to help lift their spirits. And then I just got word today, this is not, the contract's not even signed for these images yet, so I might be jumping the gun, but I did get word that Christmas Tree Shops has purchased my florals. I've shown my florals before. Well, I designed some cards and sent them to this company that I work with, that I license my art to, and they showed it to a bunch of different clients of theirs, and Christmas Tree Shops was one, and they chose it. So it's going to be greeting cards, or maybe they're note cards. I don't think there's anything written in the inside. But anyways, they're note cards, and it's four different cards in this pack. I'm not sure how many is going to be in the thing. So anyway, when that comes in, I will show those as well. So I do still license. I do not license like I used to. And her second question was, has the market changed? Yeah, it's changed a lot. When 2008 happened in the housing market and all of that, put us in that recession, it didn't hit my company until like at least 2 years later, because I'm in the gift industry and people still bought gifts. You know what I mean? I didn't feel the backlash until later. And then at that time, when my agent should have really been working harder and smarter, I was dissatisfied. Let's just put it that way. So around that same time, I was thinking about, you know, leaving my agent, and, you know, when my contract was up with her, I was going to let her know that I didn't want to work with her anymore. And so when that finally came about, that was traumatic. That felt like what I would think a divorce would feel like. I had been with her for a long time. She was my sales rep before she became my licensing agent, and we were really close. We traveled together, and there was just a lot of things that I learned through other artists that had worked with her previously. People started coming out of the woodwork and telling me things, and anyways, it got really not, it just was not good. And so I had such a bad taste in my mouth from all of that, that's when I really put my efforts into my pattern business, because I just didn't feel like licensing anymore. My passion for that business had been clouded by that experience with my agent. And in my contract, I had, like, for the next year, I don't know, it's too complicated. I will get into that some other time, but so I just had a bad taste in my mouth for licensing. So I didn't go to Atlanta one year, which I had been going like for the past 10, 11 years in a row, but I missed a year because I just felt like, why go? I'm not pushing it anyway. Well, so then I put my efforts into my pattern business, and now that's booming, and that's where I'm putting my effort. So I still ponder sometimes about getting a licensing agent, but the market has changed. There are a ton of artist licensing. When I first started licensing, it was back in, what the heck was it? Oh, well, I signed with my agent in 1997, but I had actually had a licensing deal prior to that. But in the industry, in the gift mart that I'm in, where my art kind of belongs or whatever, there weren't a ton of artists licensing their work. So I got in Deb Strain, Carol Endress, there was, Warren Kimball, he was already in it before me, and like Mary Engelbrecht. I mean, there were artists licensing, but not like there is now. Now it is just, the market is saturated, and I'm not saying you can't make it full-time licensing your artwork, but it's a lot more difficult than it used to be. The other thing that changed is a company used to be more loyal to you, and also, like, you would send them your artwork, they would ask you to paint something for them, you would paint it, and they would work with it. They would turn it into product, and it would become a product, and you would get paid a royalty on it when it sold, when the product sold. But then it got really bad where there was such an influx of artists that then that put the company, I guess you could say, had a little more power, and they would have all these just different artists design. They would say, okay, can you design something for this? Let's say they say, can you design a tabletop line of Christmas, a Christmas tabletop line? And when I say tabletop, that, like I said, it means plates and bowls and a pitcher and a cookie jar and a spoon rest and all these different tabletop pieces. And they would, but you think you're designing just for them? No, they've got maybe 10 or 12 other artists doing the same thing. Then everyone turns their artwork in, and then they sit back and go, no, maybe, weed people out, and then get down to maybe one or two, and then pick one. So I can remember painting my you-know-what off this one year. I was with my agent still, and nothing came of it. I painted like a crazy fool, and nothing came of it. And I said, this is for the birds. I'm not doing this anymore. They call it spec work. So I said, I'm not doing spec work anymore. If somebody wants to work with me and they want to work, when I paint them something and they're going to use it I mean, I could see if you painted something and said, oh, this isn't going to work for us. But that whole sitting back and having 10 people do it and they pick one or maybe 2 artists line, I was like, no, I'm not. I have way better things to do with my time. You know, it was insane. So I quit doing spec work. And anyway, it was just a culmination of things that the economy, my agent and my relationship going south, spec work, the influx of other artists. I have a really close friend of mine that she still licenses full-time. That is how she makes a living. And she said, oh, Teresa, it has changed. She said she's working as hard as ever. And it's just not like it was. Let's just put it that way. So I feel I'm in a great place. I feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to do, because also when you are a licensed artist, and if that's what you do for a living, you don't necessarily just get to paint whatever you want to paint. You know, people are giving their opinions and, well, we want you to do this and we want you to do that, and you have deadlines, and it can be very, very stressful. Where now I would rather do commission paintings, do more original paintings, and sell them through shops and galleries, and focus on my pattern business. So I'm sorry that was a long answer, but I wanted to kind of explain that whole thing. So that was it for questions. Very simple. So last week's giveaway winner, I'm going to insert the YouTube comment picker video right here so you can see. Start. And the question was, if you could go back and spend 1 week of your life, what week would it be? And the winner is Sharon Scheit. She said, I would go back to 1992 when my children were all little. If I could even spend a day back in time when they were little, that would make me so happy. So a week would even be better. Amen, sister. I agree. I loved it when our kids were little. So congratulations, Sharon. If you could please email me your address, I'll get your pattern right out to you. Thanks for participating, and thanks everyone else for your comments. So congratulations, Sharon, and you get to pick your choice of punch needle or cross stitch pattern, whichever one you want, and I will send it in the mail to you. And then our new giveaway is, oh, I don't have it right here with me. I gotta grab it. It's a 13 by 22 inch piece of Weeks Dye Works tin roof linen. Let me go grab that. This is one of my favorite linen colors that I use with Weeks Dye Works. Yeah, it's called tin roof. And now that I'm looking at it, I think that would be perfect for that peaceful dwelling that I'm talking about. I have a lot more of this. Yeah, this is, what did I say, 35 count? Yes, this is 35 count. Okay, and then the question is super simple. Pizza or tacos? If you had to choose pizza or tacos, what would you choose? I don't know. I love that. The reason I picked those two is because I make homemade pizza pretty much. No, I don't make it every week, but once or twice a month. And then I make Taco Tuesday usually. Love them both, but I guess I'd have to say pizza. I love and adore pizza. So I would pick pizza over tacos, but I'll tell you, that would be a tough one. And then, last but not least, we have our Chinese fortune teller and Valerie from Stitching in the Barn. Hi, Valerie. I love your videos. If you don't watch her, shout out to Valerie. You have to watch her. She's so good. She's so good. Green 1-1. So we go Green 1-1. Pet peeves. Oh, that's funny. It's so funny because I was just thinking about that today. Like, I wonder what it's gonna land on, because I haven't done, pet peeves in a while, or, I was thinking of some of the things, and it's pet peeves. So one of my pet peeves, and it will probably not be as bad now with Ryan moved out. Ryan, I love you and I miss you, but I do not miss this. My husband does it too. He doesn't do it as much anymore, but when the dishwasher is pretty much empty and it's right next to the sink, but you rinse, at least they rinse them off, rinse off your bowl and set it in the sink. That makes me crazy. And I have to tell you a funny story that goes along with that. We have Thanksgiving here every year with Kevin's family, and we draw names, okay, for gifts. Well, we don't do that anymore. Now we draw names and we say prayers, a prayer for that person. Now, we did that 2 years ago. Last year we did the white elephant. Anyways, we're mixing it up, y'all. But my sister-in-law was getting in I have these 2 drawers that are just junk drawers. I need to organize them. It's like you organize them and it seems like 2 months later they're just a mess again. But she was looking for some paper and she found this note that I had wrote with a felt marker, and it says, if you're too lazy to bend over and put the dishes in the dishwasher, then so am I. And I put it on the sink for my husband and my son to see. Anyway, I heard her laughing and I'm like, what are you laughing at over there? And she held up that note and I'm like, it works. It worked. And I kept the note because it only works for a short time, like maybe a week, they'll be good. And then all of a sudden they start doing that crap again. And then you put the note back out and, you know, anyway. But the worst part of that is when they, I'm telling on my husband and my son, when they get the knife and they get a big spoon and they get the peanut butter out of the jar and then like eat it like a lollipop. Like I do that too. But when I'm done, I rinse off my spoon or my knife or whatever and I put it in the dishwasher. They would leave it laying on the sink, like on the counter and on the rim of the sink with peanut butter still on it. So there's peanut butter getting on my sink and just leave it there. That's disgusting. Because then I'm rinsing that off, and if you don't and it dries on there, it's disgusting. So, major pet peeve, y'all. If you can look in the dishwasher. If it's dirty, put your dang dishes away. And if it's clean, take the initiative to unload it and then reload it with the dirty ones. But anyways, I try not to be negative on here. I'm laughing about it because Ryan said to me too, he's like, well, someday you're going to miss all these little things that I do or whatever. And I'm like, I just said to myself yesterday, I'm like, yeah, I would take back, he's only been gone one night, but I would take it back, all the little messes and whatnots, just to have him home. But I'm happy for him. I mean, he's excited he's got an apartment in Davison, like the next town over. I mean, I could be at his place in 15 minutes. And he's sharing an apartment with one of his best friends. His name is Kyle, which is bizarre because we have a son, Kyle. So anyway, that's it. That's plenty. I gotta go because I have a lot to do before my mom and Jerry get here. So thank you all for your comments. Have a great week. I hope you have lots of time to do your stitching and whatever else that you like to do. Take care. Bye. Okay, so here's angel number 1. Crackle is done. The only thing I have to do now is I gotta email her though and see if she wants a satin finish or a matte finish. The crackle did well. I'm pleased. Some on her face, but not too much. You know, when you're up close, it really looks grungy, but I'll scan back and you'll be able to see that it's something you don't necessarily see when you're far back, which is part of its charm, I think. And I also, when I'm done putting the varnish on, I think, depending on how it looks, I'll probably go over the parts that have the silver and repaint the silver on it, just because, especially if it's going to be a matte varnish, it's going to dull that down, and you know, you really want that to shine. Yeah, see, it's already dulled down a bit, the silver, but I can go back in and paint that. So anyway, there's number 1. And here's angel number 2. She had some really good crackling going on here too, and her halo. A lot right there. Sorry if I'm going too fast. It's a big painting, so if I don't move along, it's good. Oh, and I sanded underneath both of these too. So when I sand, that's why you're seeing like this right here, here, all these cool marks that happen when you do the sanding. So it just adds more, you know, layers of texture and things that you wouldn't get without doing that process. So there you go. Just wanted to show you the final. Yeah, she turned out really nice. I'm so excited. I'm happy and I cannot wait. She's having these framed and I can't wait to see what kind of frame she's going to put on them. But I'm sure she'll send pictures. Thanks for being with me through this whole journey of painting these angels. It's been kind of fun. Peace out.